So, Pone's a little disappointed. Another patch note has come and gone, and still no word on Rush. Why you do this, Dice? Truthfully, it's no secret that the franchise was built up on two foundation game types. Rush and Conquest. Now, if you didn't know this, by the way, and you maybe knew, maybe for Christmas or something, but Battlefield 1, they stirred up Conquest a little bit when the game first came out. Believe it or not, they tweaked the scoring system, and the community wasn't having it. Nope, they rioted, they were upset, and it wasn't that dramatic of a change, to be honest, but it was enough to make the game play and operate and count differently, which was enough to piss a lot of people off. Thus, DICE did a little bit of backpedaling, and, turned it back to normal. But it's kind of crazy, because in my mind, like when a dog's chewing on a bone, and you reach down to grab that bone, and the dog just freezes and looks at you like, are you really fucking thinking this through? And then you slowly back up like, I wasn't doing nothing. Yeah, well, the dog is us, and the poor human, that's DICE. But while we were too busy playing around with our bone, we didn't know that DICE was gonna go fuck with our squeaky toy. Yeah, we're talking about Rush now. And it was a sad thing, and truthfully, I really didn't think they were going to up in the entire game type by reducing the player count, but it's true. I mean, 12v12, that's not enough. And the fact that heavy tanks are in the game type are exactly what is crippling the whole game, at least for pubs. In a competitive sense, it wouldn't be that bad, because people could focus them down properly. But in a public environment, it's hard enough when it's 32v32 to find enough people to focus one heavy tank when it's camping on the edge of a map or something. Let alone 12v12 when we kind of have to spread out the different classes. We need our scouts, our medics, our supports, and everything like that. We don't have enough people trying to use the assault to take down that tank, especially when it can just run away and repair. So not only do you have to generally range kill it with a rocket gun, you need to have so many people firing it at one time so that it can't retreat and repair. And this is a very dangerous system that people are exploiting. I mean, it's abused like crazy in Conquest just because it's so hard to find people to focus it in general. And with, a third of the player base, of course, it's going to be even less frequent of an occurrence. And it's not a really good thing. So if we rewind, we take a couple steps back to the whole doggy mentions. Realistically, I feel like us, the dog, we jumped the fence, right? And we ran out behind the car as DICE was leaving for work that morning, and of course, naturally, when that happens, they ran us over. Except for it wasn't a car, it was a Char 2C, and it fucking hurt a lot. And that's how I feel right now, because two of the main ways to play the game are no longer a thing. There's only one now, and I've been restricted to playing Conquest only, and it gets a little stale, it gets a little boring. And I honestly don't know why they've deviated so much. Why would they reduce that? And I can only honestly think of two reasons for why they would cut the player base on Rush. We had a good thing going. Why would you do such a severe change to a game type like that? And I didn't think it would actually change the game that much, and you don't until you play it and you realize, holy hell, these tanks are ridiculous. But I feel like the reason they did this is either, for one, they wanted operations to become really big. And to do this, they needed to separate Rush, which is, to be honest, a whole lot like operations, but instead of capturing points, you're planning MCOMs, or telegraphs. So I feel like to separate the two, they wanted to condense the player base down so it played a little different. And honestly, it makes sense if they were to do something like that, just because they want operations to pick up in popularity and not just be one of those game types that dies and people didn't give a fair chance to. Or they are hoping that Rush will be the competitive game type. Now, I'm going to save that for an entirely different commentary. If you want me to talk about the likelihood of competitive Battlefield being a thing, just down in the comment section below, let me know. Code word baloney, and I will make a commentary on that. But to be real, the only thing that DICE really has going for it is Rush. It's the only competitive game type that they honestly have. Domination is a joke because there's already arena shooters out there like Call of Duty that are doing the competitive thing. We don't really need things like that. You have the round-based turns like Counter-Strike and Siege. So the only really unique game type accessible for a competitive environment is Rush. And that may be why they brought it down to 12v12. By the way, that's funny. So when you're playing pubs, it's 5-man squads. 5, 5, and 2 are how the squads go out, but hey, that's none of my business. So how's about 40-man Rush? Sounds good to me. You already got 40-man operations. That's 4 squads of 5. Mathematically, that wouldn't make it too overwhelming on the smaller maps, but it would be just right for some of the bigger maps. And I honestly am all behind it. That way you can keep the heavy tanks, you're going to have more of a presence, more people that can go assault, and try to focus down the armor. It probably would not be as overwhelming. And that's something that I would definitely accept into it. Or you remove heavy tanks from rush entirely. If you're going to keep the lower player counts, you can't allow things with especially the repair system in play to exist with only 12v12. It's just too much. Whoever has the tank wins the game, and it's overwhelming as hell. But either way, I've done your job for you, Dice. Those are two easy solutions that would make the game type better. May not be the best things possible, but they're a more reasonable solution to the problem that we have right now, because not enough people are playing Rush, and it's because Rush is not that fun right now. The tanks are way too overwhelming, so get rid of the tanks and just keep armored vehicles in play, like little cars and cavalry and stuff, or, of course, boost up the player count so that tanks aren't that big of a problem or a nuisance anymore. There you go. You're welcome, Dice. And you, community, it's up to you to get this done. We have all been bitching and complaining about the Automatico, and it's still not been nerfed, so we have to scream it. We have to yell it from the top of Grappa. We need people to know and to be heard. And with CTE right around the corner, this is the perfect time because they're going to be listening to feedback more than usual. So if ever there was an opportunity for us to get Rush fixed, it's right now. So get out there, get on the forums, tweet things, let people know. I just want my fucking squeaky toy back. Is it too much to ask? You guys have a great night. Stay moist.